Welcome everyone. Today we're creating a lovely pastel themed tutu dress that is going to be really full and fluffy. We're going to add some mesh material to it to really keep it full. We're utilizing a crocheted top in the same pastel colors of yellow, mint, lavender, and pink. We're also going to use some flowers, some ribbon, and other embellishments. The supplies you're going to need are your trusty fabric scissors, your utility scissors, your tool from either a bolt or roll, your crocheted top, and your hot glue gun. We're going to utilize the slip knot method, and if you've got those felt circles, those will be useful for you as well.
On this tutorial, we're only going to do one variation for you, and the rest is going to basically be, if you've watched several of our other videos, it's a repeat. We're doing the angled cut. I've already done all of that. And then we're going to add mesh. Now we're not using this one, and it's also called netting, depending again where you buy it from or what distributors call it. Now the main difference is it's a honeycomb shape in comparison to our hexagon and the diamond cut our diamond cut tool. This is a lot stiffer. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to add two layers of the regular tulle in the various shades of color that we're using. And the reason for this, guys, is that netting is really coarse and basically it's rough to the skin. So we're going to eliminate worrying about that, and we're going to add two layers of our regular tulle, and then we'll start and add one layer of the netting or mesh, depending on where you get it from again. Now, why are we adding it? Well, the little girl that we're making this for really loves fluffy. So we're going to make sure that when we add this netting, it's going to do that effect. It's going to help fluff this out and keep it fluffed out for all of her Easter time events. So let's get started. Okay, real quick, just so you know, we are going to show you how to cut this. It's pretty much the same as you would tulle from a roll. You don't really have to worry too much about the stretch issue that you have when you're cutting tulle from a bolt, but you still got to worry about it a little bit, but not near as much with the tulle from a bolt that's regular. And you're going to need a lot less of this, especially if you're just doing one row. So it might come like this, just rolled up, and I'll show you how to unroll it and cut it. And it can get wrinkled, so once you get it home, go ahead and unroll it and just fold it. Alright, so let's place some of this tulle, show you real quick, and then show you our slip knot method real quick, and then we'll do the cutting of the netting here. And we are going to make a bonnet with this. I've got a tutorial on how to make the bonnets, so you're more than welcome to take a look at those. Alright, doing the slip knot method, we are doing the staggered effect. Alright, so we don't have to bring our tails closely together because we want it to be a little staggered so that it looks like varying lengths. Now, not a whole bunch, but just a little bit of variation is what we're doing. Okay, so if you're doing the slip knot method and you want it all to be the same length, just bring it together as closely as possible. Okay, and that's all you have to do. That's the difference than ours. Now for us, I'm just going to take one tail, I'm going to raise it a bit, and this is what it's going to look like. It's going to have one tail here and then one tail further down. Alright, now after you've folded it in half, squish it as much as possible. Run it through your crocheted hole. Pull some out. Widen it with your fingers. Bring the tails through the hole or opening and gently tug down. Remember, key thing here, don't make your knots real tight. You don't have to, because you'll stretch out your lovely tutu top or a crocheted band too much, and then it'll be a different size once you're finished putting all this on. Alright, so I'm going to do this, and then we'll get started on the netting. So what I've done, because I did not put mine up correctly, I've got it wrinkled and all that, I've already cut it in half and cut it to the length that I need for that extra poof that we're trying to use, that we're trying to create from this on the tutu. So we've got approximately 34 inches because we're going to have a 17-inch piece of mesh. So just take it, fold it again, and you're just folding it enough to be able to manage cutting it without it going all crooked on you. If you've got a rotary cutter for your craft projects, use that, or your household scissors that are sharpened. Do not use your fabric only scissors because this is rough and it can be worse than paper. Alright, so just cut your strips. One thing I want to mention is that you don't want real wide strips because it's hard to go through those crocheted holes. Now it is a little bit different when you're doing an elastic base, but when you're working with a crocheted hole, this is hard to maneuver to make a slip knot that's not really tacky. Alright, now this is my wrinkled area. I'm going to use my scissors for that, and I'll trim it up if I need to. And again, what I'm doing is I'm going to do the angled cut. Fold it in half, bring it together. Now take your rotary cutter or your scissors and do your angled cut. See if you can see this. This is real light, so it's hard to see. Okay. Bring it together. If you're doing the staggered effect, then you'll put the ends a little higher up instead of matching together, just like you do the tulle. All of this is exactly like the tulle. Only difference is you're working with a little bit rougher material, but it does the job when you want it to poof up more with less tulle. Bring it through the crocheted hole, squish the folded side, bring the tails through, getting the rest out of the way, and gently tug down. And that's it. Alright, as you see here, we've added all the layers that we're going to do. We've got our netting on here, which can also be called mesh depending on where you buy it from. And these are the honeycomb shaped holes, and they're larger than your normal tulle. And remember, your tulle is usually going to be hexagonal shape or diamond shape instead of this honeycomb. Okay, and you really can't see it. I've brought this up so you could see it, but what we did was I added 2 layers on top. So I had 2 layers on bottom, the netting, and then 2 layers of tulle on top, and you really can't see it. So if you saw previously when I was cutting my netting, because it wasn't put up right, or it was, you know, left over, it was wrinkled. Well, you can't even tell, so you don't have to worry about that, and you can really use whatever you have left over. So that's great. And it's just, I love how this has turned out. It's not even poofed out yet. This is just by putting it on there and kind of straightening it just a bit. So it's going to really be poofy. Now I'm going to add some extra embellishments, and then we're going to do the top. And just in case you're wondering, this one is 15 to 16 inches in length, and it's the angled cut. And this is going to go for a 4-year-old. Now I'm going to add some ribbon throughout. I've got the same colors as I do in tulle, or pretty close to it. You can actually use different colors if you want to add some more to it. If you have those felt eggs you know, the Easter eggs, the felt ones. You can put those throughout. There's so many different things that you can do with this. But we're just going to keep it simple. We're just going to add some ribbon. Now, this ribbon is the sheer organza. And what I'm going to do, and as I've said before, I've got a house full now. And you'll have to just bear with our noise because an 8-month-old does not know, hey, I'm recording. Alright, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to roll this up. I'm going to take a little bit of my fabric softener and I'm going to wet it just a bit. It doesn't have to be saturated completely. And I'm going to use my dowel. Now, if you don't have any dowels but you have some pencils that are not sharpened yet, you can use that in place of the dowel. And I'm going to roll it up, okay? And I'm going to just let it set there for a little while. And it will curl up for you. So that's one of the reasons why I really like this sheer organza. You can use satin ribbon in place of that. Of course it doesn't curl the same, but you can make bows in place of curling it. You can use different widths to add some variation to this. I have tried this, but I've had to use my regular household sharpened scissors. And I can curl it just a little bit, but you have to be careful. You don't want to use your real sharp scissors, but it'll give a little bit of a curl. Okay. Just be careful that you don't end up tearing your ribbon or fraying it too much. Look at that. And run it through my crocheted hole. Let me see if I can do a close-up for you. Run it through my crocheted hole. And I'm just going to tie a little knot. Now, I'm not tying a double knot, okay? I'm just tying it like you would when you're starting your shoelaces. And the reason why I'm not doing that is because I may not want this on here later. Or the person that purchases this may want to do something different. So there's all kinds of things that you can do. And the sheer ribbon isn't too rough on the skin, so you don't have to worry too much about that. But you can do different colors, different lengths, different widths of ribbon.
As I was doing the ribbon placement and the dowel process, I realized, hey, I have this Stiffen Quick by Alina's, and I also have some starch. Let me see if this will work to keep that curl longer in place. And guess what? It works. It doesn't last forever, but it will last through an entire event or two. So it's something to keep in your hat. Now we're taking some elastic 3/8 inch, and it's the glitter style, and we're gonna make some lovely straps for this crocheted tutu top dress.
Glitter elastic that you see for headbands. Well, I'm going to use these to make sort of spaghetti straps, and they're stretchy, so you don't need a lot, and that's what this is going to look like. See? And you can sew it, or you can hot glue it like we're going to do here. Alright? So first, if you know your measurement for the shoulders for the person you're making it for, great. If not, no worries. This stretches, so just make sure it's not too loose. And this is about 11 to 12 inches in length. And this is going to go for both, all the way around both. Now, by the time I'm done, it'll be 10, but it stretches. This one stretches about 16 inches, so that should be plenty for the little girl that we're making this one for. Pick your spot, just kind of take a look. Now, here's the thing. If you don't have the small size felt pieces, you may just want to use a small piece of satin ribbon. I'm going to cut it. Take your heating implement and heat Okay, so now I am going to pick where I want it. Don't glue anything until you know where you want it exactly, okay? Looks about right to me. You can use this or you don't have to. Now, if you're going to add an embellishment, I would make sure that I had this, okay? Just so that way you've got an extra area you can glue. Also, this glitter part is a little rough to the skin, so that would take care of that for you. Alright, so find the hole that you're going to put it through. I go one down, lift it up, and all you're doing, again, is you can sew or you can glue. You're going to let that set and you'll do the other side. Put it through the hole you want. Now remember, I cut a little extra so you've got room to put to pull this up some more if you want. Also though, if you find that you've made it a little too big, you can take the tip of your glue gun, or you can take an iron if you've got a craft iron, and you can reheat the glue area to adjust it. And you're just going to put, again, a line of glue, lining it up as closely together so it doesn't even show, okay? And that's all there is to it. Or if you're going to add an embellishment, now you may think, well, what did you need this for? Well, if I want to add like a little rosebud or bling, anything like that, I'll want this. Now let's move on to this while we're waiting for this to dry. We're using a really pretty rhinestone centered flower, fabric flower. We're going to take the green off. We're just going to do the stem part, okay? Okay. I'm going to pick my position. Now, I don't know if you can see that, but I have it right here in the center. And now we're going to add glue generously. Now, if you take these off, if you take this off, just make sure that you add glue on each layer, okay? And this is just to make sure that it really stays. You can add more. And all you're doing is just making sure that since there's no stem anymore, that the rose petals stay together. Just press firmly. Be generous with your glue. Okay, right here, be generous. Now you want to make sure that it's not going to squish out on you, but you want to put a good amount. And because I used white and my form is white, I'm having some issues at finding it. Okay, oops. And to make sure that you're lining it up right, guys, just feel for the seam in the back and there. And then I take my finger and I run all the way down to make sure. Now press firmly. Now I can put this towards you again. Press firmly, let that dry, and
towards the end of this creative process, I decided I wanted a little bit more embellishment. So you don't see it in the video, but I did add a flower on each side where the straps begin and a lovely white satin bow on the back. It turned out fantastic, and it lasted through a barbecue, an Easter egg hunt, a photo shoot, and a few other events. I wanted to tell you all thank you so much for your continued support and sharing, liking, and subscribing. It has been invaluable, and it truly is a pleasure. We have a newly launched site, tucouture.com, and as always, our Tutu Cute site and our Naomi Inspired site on Etsy. Be sure you check out our Facebook page, where we have secret sales, special discounts and coupon codes, not only from our sites, but when I receive a coupon code, I try to share that with you as well. From my family to yours, it has been an honor and a blessing. Thank you so much again for your continued support. Remember, anything you create is going to be fantastic. Why? Because you took the time to create it. Have a blessed day. Music graciously provided by Jasper Sawyer. Make sure you check out his channel.
Girl, I've waited long for you, so be my princess for life. That's right.